bullshit. What's it to you, man?
Hey, you two, break it up.
I'll see you tonight. You'll be back in your cell by the 3rd. I'm gonna bust you up good.
It's time, Lang. You're out of here.
You better hide good when you get out. I got some friends I'm gonna send looking for you. I ain't hiding from no one. Everyone's gonna know where I am.
Rocky Balboa has shocked the world! He is the new heavyweight champion of the world!
Good luck. Yo, Adrian! Adrian!
Apollo Creed's time has passed, and it's the era of Rocky Balboa. The Rocky III opens with a montage showing the champ's 10 title defenses as he gradually loses the eye of the tiger. Mickey says to Rocky later in the film how the challengers were all good fighters, but not killers like Clubber Lang. With that in mind, I've got an interesting task ahead of me. From 1977 to 1981, Rocky needs to defend the title 10 times against the contemporary fighters of the time, but is supposed to lose his edge. So I'll be ignoring the names from the movie, like Joe Zack or Big Yank Ball, despite them being mentioned in the first film as potential challengers to ex-champ Apollo Creed. Logically, Rocky takes the rest of 1976 off given the monstrous Apollo rematch was on Thanksgiving Day. Apollo Creed, instead of requesting a grudge match, retires. He may live to regret that decision. Just how will Rocky lose the eye of the tiger before the events of the third film? I'd imagine it goes something like this. In 1977, Balboa first defends his title against Ron Lyle. Lyle doesn't make it easy on The Rock, giving him all he can take, but after Mickey screams, "Put him away, Rock! This ain't no party!" Rocky eviscerates Lyle with a devastating knockout that sends him flying against the ropes and out like a light. What a statement first title defense by the Italian Stallion. Meanwhile, Jimmy Young banishes George Foreman into retirement, who just couldn't take the mental toll of the losses to Creed, Ali, and now Young. Did Rocky just dodge a bullet? Up next for Rocky is Jimmy Young. After initially being outboxed, Balboa gets it in gear with Mickey losing his marbles at ringside. Rocky lashes out with a monstrous right while pinned in the corner and pounds Young's body all the way to the canvas for the knockout. For his third defense, Rocky battles through the offense of the inexperienced Larry Holmes. The big black cloud shows his potential early on by stinging the champ and staying on the move, but he grows too confident and winds up being uppercutted up and into the ropes for the stoppage win. That's the price you pay when you stand in front of the champ. Of course, if this were the more experienced championship level Holmes, he would probably win. Unbeknownst to all, James Clubber Lang is watching from the crowd and growing in hunger. He's mildly impressed with Balboa's showcases but thinks that he can beat the champ. Lang is fresh out of prison and was inspired to make a champ out of himself by Rocky's 2 fights against Apollo Creed. One more defense for the Stallion, and it's a KO of the German champ according to the movie. I'm going to retcon it to being the European champ and have Rocky knock out Alfredo Evangelista. Light work as Balboa avoids his man's offense and slugs him with a nasty series of hooks. In his first year as the champ, Rocky has proven himself a true fighting champion and relieved Apollo that his wishes of good luck in subsequent retirement was indeed the right move. And Mickey's gotta calm down. He'll have a heart attack if he keeps up all that rage in the corner. Is he getting better as he ages? The man is 32. We'll see in 1978. It's 1978. Rocky enters his 5th title defense against Joe Bugner. It's a stale affair until Rocky scores a devastating left hook to put Joe down for the count in the 8th. Up next is Richard Dunn, and it's a surprisingly late 6-round knockout for the Italian Stallion. 6 rounds to knock out that bum? You may remember Richard Dunn from reality when he faced Muhammad Ali. Rocky's final defense is against Scott Ledoux. Little opposition as Ledoux is finished in the 2nd round following a right to the body and left cross. Mickey experiences mild chest pain after the bout. That's 7 title defenses for Rocky Balboa. The world loves the champ despite boxing scholars asserting that his defenses weren't nearly as profound this year as the last. It can perhaps be attributed to Rocky's fighting style always yielding an exciting time out for fight fans. Apollo Creed, in his own mind, secretly agrees that Rocky's opposition wasn't up to par. He'd never admit this out loud, of course. Also, have you noticed Balboa's physique change as well? He's far more cut and ripped than he was in the first 2 matches against former champion Apollo Creed. Clubber Lang has lost respect for the champ, now firmly believing he can beat the Italian Stallion. He wants the same shot at Rocky that Apollo gave the champ. Larry Holmes, meanwhile, makes a great comeback statement of himself by beating both Ken Norton and Ernie Shavers, but in very warlike decisions. Remember that. Mick takes note, wary of a potential rematch for his fighter. Welcome to 1979. Clubber Lang, who's been spectating Rocky's fights, begins making noise with his 6th straight knockout. This one was a vicious finishing of Ken Norton. The Black Hercules started out well, but his offense couldn't dent Clubber. In fact, Lang appeared to be begging Norton for more. Meanwhile, the champ takes on Tom Prater, who you may remember fought Larry Holmes in reality. The fight is famous for the leaping left hook Rocky finishes his man with. Otherwise, it was no problem for the Italian Stallion in what is his 8th title defense, though Mick notes that Rocky was fortunate given he slacked off in training before the bout. Clubber Lang returns with a mauling of Ernie Shavers. It was a borderline disqualification with Lang hitting Shavers while he was already down. The referee was too intimidated to disqualify Lang. Lang did, however, show tremendous punch resistance by absorbing Shavers' offense. Shavers is considered the hardest puncher of the era after all, so it's no small feat to eat his power. Did you catch that? Lang just KO'd the 2 men who gave Larry Holmes hell. Mickey sure caught it, evident in his expression as he watches from the crowd. Rocky Balboa ends the year with a 5th round knockout of John Tate. Tate was actually favored by some to be the next big thing and was floored. Again, Mick notes that Rocky needs to laser back in on his training given Rocky barely trained for this bout. Rocky's time in the gym is more geared toward maintaining his physique rather than being in boxing shape. Mickey's chest pain becomes more pronounced. Meanwhile, Clubber Lang ends the year by absolutely eviscerating young Jerry Cooney before his career can gain any further steam. Clubber once again shows a great chin by absorbing the powerful blows of Cooney. Apollo Creed develops a mild sense of doubt within, but chalks it up to paranoia. Rocky is the real deal. That's why he beat Apollo after all, right? Meanwhile, Larry Holmes holds a presser where he declares he's sick of being disrespected and robbed of his just dues as a prize fighter, while Rocky fights bums and looks like a supermodel more so than a fighter anymore. Larry remarks that Rocky can't carry his jockstrap, and if they fight again, he'll prove it. It turns the boxing world against him and kills any steam towards the narrative that the Balboa camp is ducking him. Well, that and the fact that Rocky already beat him. Rocky himself laughs it off and goes about enjoying the bliss of his life. Man, Larry just can't catch a break. He can't even catch a break here in this What If. It's a new decade, and Rocky opens the 1980s with a first-round knockout of Dwayne Bobbitt, again behind little training. It took Balboa 3 knockdowns to finish the helpless Bobbitt. That's it. Easy work. 10 title defenses. Clubber Lang leaves the venue in disgust to go train, determining that he will be the one to rid boxing of the paper champion, Balboa. He's lost all respect for his former inspiration. Rocky, with many more celebrity appearances to make, takes the rest of the year off and also enjoys his family. Sheesh, only 1 title defense champ? Turns out Mickey has also been whispering in Rocky's ear to retire now and get out on top since he can't be bothered to even train properly. Mighty Mick is also noticeably holding his chest during tense moments. Rocky, ignorant of the division standing because Mickey handles the business, agrees and prepares to announce it at the end of his mandatory defense timing the next year in 1981. The champ has also grown a bit overconfident, believing he's just better than every other heavyweight due to his conquests. 10 title defenses with none going the distance? I guess that is solid, however you look at it. Meanwhile, Clubber Lang and Larry Holmes meet in an eliminator bout to determine the mandatory for the Italian Stallion, with Mickey watching with his binoculars. Despite his improvement and his stellar jab stinging at will, Larry Holmes is knocked out by Clubber Lang. Knocked out cold, akin to how Mike Tyson did him in reality. Mick is relieved Holmes won't be a factor for Rocky, but petrified that Clubber can't be avoided much longer. Lang goes on from here to also dominate Leon Spinks and Mike Weaver, banishing both from the title scene. Easy knockouts in which he toyed with both men, literally begging them to hit him harder and bring it to him. Lang ends the year by beating an over-the-hill Muhammad Ali into retirement. It's the same sad sight that Holmes Ali was in reality, but Lang actually manages to knock Ali out. Even Apollo Creed couldn't do that during his historic reign, if you remember from part 1. Mickey now knows he must absolutely keep Rocky away from Clubber. Apollo is floored by Lang's conquests, especially over Ali, and briefly considers returning to vanquish the Southside Slugger himself, but remarks that Rocky will take care of the bum and returns to his unstable peace. Still, Apollo's beginning to realize that perhaps it's too quiet while you're retired. He misses being in the limelight and being on top. We open 1981 to see Clubber Lang knock out Harry Kutsia in the first round. He screams how he wants Balboa and threatens Mickey that he's going to destroy Rocky and become champ. Not a single one of Clubber's bouts have gone past the 3rd round. This guy really is a wrecking machine. Apollo Creed, at home in his pool, watches the event. Creed quips to himself that Rocky should have no problem beating Lang because he knows Rocky. Rocky did beat him after all, and Apollo knows that he, too, would also beat Lang. So to Apollo, Lang beating Rocky would undermine his retirement and legacy. The doubt grows strong in Apollo as he reaches full regret at retiring and not pursuing a rubber match with Rocky. Deep down, maybe Apollo knows Rocky may lose to Clubber. Rocky has the Thunder Lips charity exhibition with Lang present to witness the circus show, and of course, Mick experiences his worst chest pain yet. This is when the statue unveiling happens in Philly, and Rocky announces his planned retirement. Of course, Clubber interrupts and baits Rocky into the fight, stating how Rocky has been ducking him akin to how Floyd Patterson ducked Sonny Liston. What takes the cake for Rocky is Clubber involving Adrian, not the ducking accusations. The rest of the movie unfolds from 1981 to 1982, with Apollo turning his doubt into the ultimate turnaround and potentially setting up his own redemption for after the Clubber Lang saga. Was Rocky lucky that Apollo cleaned out the division for him? No Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Norton, Shavers, and others to truly test him? Beating Clubber Lang will show that he was a true champion after all. I wish him luck. Now before you go watch Rocky 3, because I'm sure you want to, you should check out part 1 of the storyline where we went over how Apollo Creed became champ leading into the first Rocky film. This is a sequel to that. I hope that this what if makes Rocky's comeback victory over Clubber Lang more fulfilling, given retroactively the win means that not only is Rocky redeemed, but so are Apollo and the fans who may have been in doubt over Rocky's 10 title defenses being legitimate. Rocky beating Clubber solidified him as an all-time great. It would have been like if Deontay Wilder had beaten Tyson Fury and vindicated his own title reign. I'd also like to show some overdue love to Ben Knighty, or is it Needy? I apologize for any name mispronunciations, and Kaiju Director for suggesting this storyline, delving into the lore of the Rockyverse. Thank you, gentlemen, and I'm sorry I missed your shoutouts in part 1. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified every time I post a video. Big shout out to all my members, my champs, for their undying support. Their names will be on the screen soon. You can join them and become a member today for early access to all my videos, updates on current projects, your name joining the thank you list, and much more. Hit the join button. Let's keep growing readers and viewers of the Boxing Encyclopedia. Also, should there be a part 3 to this storyline? Rocky Balboa's second reign as champ after Clubber Lang? There's 3 years between Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 after all. We could explore the real-life contenders of the time, Clubber Lang's aftermath, maybe peek at Ivan Drago's amateur career, see young Union Kane, maybe dive into the third match between Rocky and Apollo that made Apollo hatch a plan to regain his title in a comeback career finale. Remember, Apollo won the Gym War. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see any of that. And yes, we're now off to a timeline of the 2000s heavyweight boxing division. This has been the Charles Jackson, author of the Boxing Encyclopedia, and I'll see you next time. Stay frosty.